Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Brittany with Horoscope.com. Here are 3 things you need to know in order to make today, Thursday, March 14th, 2019, a success. Now the first thing I want to talk about is going to be right here, where the moon is. The moon in this chart and for today is in the sign of Gemini. When the moon's in Gemini, it brings our attention here to communicating, talking, thinking, either with ourselves or others, as it brings our attention as well to our siblings and our neighbors. Now what we've got going on early this morning, maybe as some of us are waking up and getting going, is this moon in Gemini in a square over here with the sun in Pisces. What this makes it is a first quarter moon. What are first quarter moons characterized by? Action, doing things. What are we doing? Again, with this moon in Gemini, communicating. What are we communicating, thinking, talking about? Well, with the sun in Pisces, our emotions. What's going on inside us? Privately, personally, spiritually. Maybe we're also communicating and talking about the past, old things, how we can break through old things and move into new ones. At the same time this is happening, the moon also is in an opposition here with Jupiter. Again, so Jupiter expands things. So this is lots of feelings, lots of talking, lots of thinking. You could wake up this morning with your mind just running, going, all crazy insights, crazy stuff coming out of nowhere. I like to think with Jupiter involved, though, that it will be a good thing, especially with this being a first quarter moon. Okay, it can also bring up lots of feelings. Yeah, lots of feelings, lots of thoughts, all the things. I think what's going on here is that we're doing a lot of communicating and a lot of thinking so that we can finally have some breakthroughs, seeing things differently and stepping into new chapters, perhaps that we've been working on for quite some time that have been a little bit difficult to come into. So that's what I see going on there. The next thing that's going to happen after that is going to be about an hour or so later, still around breakfast time. This moon in Gemini is then going to make a square with Mercury, which is the natural ruler of a Gemini moon. So this is going to bring even more conversations up. Just still lots of things going on that we're talking about and thinking about still. Trying to work things out. I think a lot of this pressure going on here with Mercury, with Gemini, with communication, it's, yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure building up within us internally and maybe even building up without us externally to force us to have conversations, to say what's on our mind, to speak about what needs to be spoken about, and to get breakthroughs and to see things differently and to get a much needed perspective change. So that's what I see going on here with a lot of these things repeating itself in the astrology here. Breakthroughs, pushing through, understanding, seeing things differently. It's absolutely necessary at this time, and we can no longer avoid it if we have been in the past. It's time to get on board with where your life is going and to get used to it and to come into new chapters in your life. After this happens, the next alignment of the day isn't really going to be until nighttime, so we're going to sit with that for a while. At nighttime, right around dinner, this moon in Gemini is then going to leave that sign and enter Cancer. When the moon enters Cancer, it's then going to bring our attention more emotionally, more inward, more privately, more personally. It's going to be less about communicating, talking, trying to get breakthroughs, and more about sitting with all those things that we talked about and getting right with them, understanding them emotionally, and really grounding and rooting ourselves in those things that came up. Also, when the moon's here in Cancer, it could be a lot too about reconceptualizing our identity and how we see ourselves now that we've had some conversations and adopted a little bit of a new perspective on things. Right when the moon moves into Cancer, it is then going to make a sextile over here to Uranus, still around dinner time. So again, that could bring some unexpected things up, but that I think will be very positive and very pleasant to help us see ourselves in new and different ways, conceptualize a new identity, and build our life on a new and different foundation that this time is going to be more secure and more stable than ever before, even if we are, again, with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, making some big changes in life. After that happens, the next alignment then is going to be maybe as some of us are starting to go to bed, and that's going to be when the moon makes a square over here with Chiron here, and that can bring up some uncomfortable things around bedtime, uncomfortable feelings. I think we've gotten major insights today about our life, where we need to go, what we need to do that's new or different, how we can overcome the past in order to move forward, how emotionally we can get on board with our new life and start to ground ourselves in some kind of new life. But with the square to Chiron, even though I think we've got major insights and are starting to get more emotionally comfortable with things, maybe we're still a little bit unsure of how to move forward and of how to do things in the right ways, in the ways that we feel comfortable with, and that support our identity. Maybe as well, even though we're getting insights about our new identity and how we need to be, maybe there are still some parts of it with Chiron and Aries that we're still unsure about. Maybe we've got the first inklings of who we are about to be or need to become, but I think there's still more that needs to be worked out personally before we can understand really who we are and really what's next in our life, even though we are now more open to new possibilities and to going there. Okay, so that's the first thing that I want to talk to you about today with all this stuff going on. Really is a time to adopt a new perspective on life and to let yourself go there, even if you're not entirely sure how to do things next to accommodate this or who exactly you are now in this place or need to be. Now, the second thing that I want to talk about here, maybe I'll go to Mars. Mars is coming into a trine with Saturn and Pluto today. I think what this needs to be is because we're moving into new chapters in life, we also need to do things differently in order to get different results. And I think that's what this alignment is all about. Changing the way you do things and being very methodical and disciplined with how you do things, even if you're doing them differently in order to get the results that it is that you want. So I would say don't be afraid to change up your strategy, but be serious about it, be logical, be dedicated, and be disciplined, because I think it's going to help you move forward and bridge the uncomfortableness about being in this new space if you plan and if you focus in a more strategic kind of way. Now, the third and last thing perhaps that I'll mention, maybe I'll just go, well, I've already kind of mentioned this a little bit with the moon touching so many spots here today, but definitely still keeping an eye, number 3, on this Mercury Sun square Jupiter thing. Breakthroughs, insights are coming, and your soul is speaking to you with this alignment. You know, listen to your spirit, listen to your soul. It knows the way, especially with Mercury and one of the most spiritual signs of the zodiac. So to me, this is a great time for you to trust your instincts to help you navigate this change. You may have to slow the brakes a little bit. You may not be able to charge forward 100% with the passion that it is that you want. But I think if you slow down with this Mars and Taurus, if you consider all your options, communicate, and weigh it out against your spirit and your soul and listen to your intuition, you're going to feel stronger and more fortified moving forward and have a much better plan of action. So that is your daily planetary forecast for today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you tomorrow.